Welcome, students. So, as we discussed in the first section of this lecture on dichotomization of a continuous variable, over here in this second section, we will be discussing this thing that how we can perform it practically. In the first section, we had a detailed explanation, the theory and the concept, advantages and disadvantages, and now we will be working on the working example. If you remember, the question was that we have a variable named as total satisfaction, and we first have to divide it into three categories with high, low, and medium, and then we have to divide it further for analysis into two categories, namely high and low. So this is our variable total satisfaction, and it has some values in it which are around. We can see if you look into this variable, so there are some pretty much values are present over here. It has 117 values in it. So let's first see that what is this variable is about. Let's try to acquaint ourselves with this data set. So let me, okay. So we go to the analyze, and in the descriptive statistics we go to frequencies, and then we move this variable into the variable section, and we go to statistics. We want to have some descriptives for this variable, and for the time being mean is sufficient enough for us. So we go to continue, and then we want to display the frequency tables, and then we go to OK. So here it is. This is our output, as you can all see. So we can see that we have 117 values. The mean is coming out to be 15.5470. Not very much concerned about this mean, but just for the sake of description of descriptives, I just got this output. I made this output visible rather, and this is our frequency table. So let's move on to let's focus ourselves to the objective. We want to split this variable, okay? And if you can see the values, the valid values, the frequencies of each value that are occurring. So we can see that there are many values that have frequencies more than one, which means that they are repeatedly occurring. Then we have the percentage of them, and then the valid percentage, and then the cumulative percentage. What I want you to understand over here, that when you are categorizing the variable, then this last column over here, which you can see, which represents the cumulative percentage, is very important, and we are going to use this one. Now it is upon the discretion of the data analyst that at what percentage he or she wants to categorize the variable. Let's say that we want to do a median splitting. So this means that we need to know where the median is, then we'll split the variable on that median. Okay, so let's redo this descriptive statistics, and let's find the median and see what it comes out to be. So I go back to the statistics and frequency statistics rather, and I now want to display the median as well. So I click continue, and we see that the median is 14. So the median value is 14, and we can see that at 14, the data that has been consumed is 50.4%. So an approximate median value which we can see over here. So that means at 14th value of the data set, we can split the data. Okay. Now, however, the objective is not this. We first have to categorize it into three categories and then do the splitting. But just for the sake of understanding, I'm making use of this example so that you may understand that how we do the median splitting as well. So let's move back to the data set that we have. This is our data set, and let me resume the share for you people again, because we have to switch to the windows in SPSS. So this is our data set, and we are now going to see that how we can do the median splitting in it. So Since I do not want to disturb this variable, I do not want to disturb its values. So at first I make a copy of this variable, and let's say I name it as copy median split. You can name anything, and I exactly copy all the values into this new variable of the given variable, which was total satisfaction. So now if you look into this screen, we can see that we have made a copy of this variable. Okay, the which variable? The total satisfaction variable, and whatever changes you are going to do is now in this copy, so that the actual variable may not be disturbed. So let's see that how we can do the median splitting into it. So we go to transform and recode into same variables, and then bring the copy over here, and then click the old and new values. And remember, our median was at 14. Okay, so what we are going to do is this, that we are going to mark one value for all, I mean one part of the data for all the values which are less than 14, and the other part of the data for all the values which are greater than 14. We go to range, and we want to see that what was our smallest value in the data set. But if you don't remember that what was your smallest value in the data set, which however you can see on the output window, you can make use of this range lowest through value and the range value through highest as well. So let's take this option. So I say that range lowest through value 14.0000, and I name this as 1, and I add it, right? And since 14 has been now included in the part in one part of the data set, so range value through highest. So the next value which I am taking is 14.0001. So we had placed five zeros after the decimal. So exactly five values after the decimal. So from 14.400001 to highest, we are naming it as 2, right? Let's see what happens. Go to continue, and we click OK. And we see now that every value in our data set of total satisfaction which was less than 14 has been assigned a code of category 2, and every value which was greater than or equals to 14 has been assigned a code of value 1, right? Let's do this thing, that let's name them as labels, name these values so that it is easier to understand. So we say that value 1 is low, we are giving it a label of low, and value 2 is the label high. And then we click OK, and now we can see that we can switch between high and low. The toggle switch, we can switch between high and low. And now let's see how the output appears to be. We go to analyze and descriptive statistics and frequencies. Now we want to see the changes that we made in this new variable median split statistics, and let's keep the mean and median. So let's see what happens. And we click continue and OK. So let me share the output screen with you people. So this was our initial output before median splitting, and the next before after the median splitting comes out to be this. Now this median and mean have no worth for us now because we have only divided the data into 1 and 2. We can see that lows are 59, highs are 58, and 50.4% are low, and then remaining are till 100% are high. There's sort of a reduction in representation. So you can see that how this information was quite huge, 117 values present over here, has been reduced or summarized by median splitting, dichotomization technique, binary split technique, as you can see in this table, right? So I hope you understand that how we can make use of SPSS to do the binary splitting or median splitting for us. Let's come back to the question now. In our given problem, what we have to do. So I resume the share again. In our actual problem, we were not supposed to do this median splitting. I took advantage of the example and I just discussed that how we can do the median splitting over here. In our actual problem, we had to categorize it into three categories and then do the splitting. So let's see how this can be done.